G'day guys, we're going to be learning a lot of things. Lesson 1, basic modes and improv over some blues, okay? So in the second lesson of beginner series, we went over some pentatonics, minor and major, for a blues track that I created. Now today we're going to incorporate this, but we're going to add in some modes as well. Now the backing track I'm using to do this is called Cocaine, okay? So you should all know that song. So going back to our first lesson on modes in the beginner package, we're going to be playing that Dorian shape, okay? So for those of you who forget. And then we're going to be playing modes off of that over this song. And it should sound pretty damn good, okay? So as long as you know all the notes and some of the modes, you can pretty much go to the length of the neck. Even improvising just on one string is a good practice technique, just using those notes. It really forces you to think. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a demo, and you can hear what it sounds like with these modes and added notes. So I'm going to add in some major thirds from the root note, which is an A flat, and also a tritone or flat and fifth, some stuff like that, and I'll explain it after I do it. Flat fifth, major third, D major, B minor, Okay guys, so that should give you some ideas of what you can actually do with this. Just a few basic ideas. There's nothing that fancy in there in terms of going too far across the neck. Mainly what we want to focus on is just incorporating that Dorian scale into this. Sounds quite nice. What we want to then do is practice. I just moved in a few modes. I was playing in D major. I was playing in C sharp Locrian, and I was playing in B minor, or B Aeolian, same thing. So those scales all have the exact same notes as E Dorian. So therefore we can use them without worrying that we're going to hit a bung note. As long as we know those shapes, we can just transpose them up and down the neck very easily. This really helps on the fly if you have to improvise over something that you're not used to. I've incorporated some added notes in there, some bonus extra flavor ones. Now, normally a Dorian scale has a flat third and a flat seven, and we've actually added in a normal third, so a major third, which sounds quite exotic, interesting. It adds a lot of interest to it. So that was on a, well, I know it's a G sharp. What fret's that? It's the 18th fret of the D string. What we want to do is find some other places we can play it. So we can play it on the 13th fret of the G string, on the 13th on the G, and the 18th on the D are the probably most easy accessible places. So you can get some like bluesy little things using that. So that was just so 12, 13 on the G, back to the 12, down to 14 on the D string, 14 on the A, 12 on the E, and bending the 15th on the B up to the E. Cool? So can sound quite cool just added in there. So some other notes that I was playing with was the flat and fifth. So there's a few licks that we can do. So one lick I'll show you is a legato lick. We're going to be focusing a fair bit on legato in this series, so we'll get started. It's quite an easy one. We're going to play a B on the B string, 12th fret, and then we're going to play a D at the 15th fret on the B string as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go like that. So just all hammer-ons and pull-offs. And then what we're going to do every other time is we're going to drop down to the 11th. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 notes. And it can sound quite tasty, and it's quite tricky to do, but it looks pretty sick if you put your hand up and just do a bit of a show off. So you can find the flat 5th at the 11th on the B string, or you can find it on the 15th on the G string. So you could also play it picking it as well instead of sliding back. Same notes. Get practicing all those modes just over the backing track and just play them. One at a time over it, get used to them, get used to the new position, and then just get used to joining notes together on strings. So and that way you can just sort of start to build a map in your head of what notes you can play on the fretboard. So I'll see you in lesson 2, where we're going to be using legato techniques with these modes. So some pretty fast stuff.